welcome back to episode 301 of Florida Snake Hunters.
Right. Too bad the Bears didn't hear any of that.
I'm here with your chief snake hunter, no one respawned in real life, your British snake hunter, Night Demon, and me, your current guest snake hunter, Peroty. We're back for all your hot snake hunting news, where we're going to talk about how to hunt snakes, why snakes should be hunted, and how to put them on planes, and making them Samuel L. Jackson's problem.
Anyway, why is he look, bro? We have a show to do. Fearless freaking leader.
You know you can talk about Destiny without me actually prompting you to talk about Destiny. I can't read.
Go
off and talk. Normally when we start the show, or before I even start the show, you're going, "Oh, this and that and this and that." I'm going, "Hold it, wait for the show." And we get to the show, and you're like, "I don't want to talk about it." Like, but
if only there was some link you could look at.
This Week in Destiny, or the one that he sent us,
to find what could be done and what we might want to talk about this week. If only there was some sort of information we could look at to see, hey, what's going on.
You know what it's time for, though?
The Google Docs?
It is time for us to start the show, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yes, excellent.
You know, my internet's about to go out. You guys are starting to break up. I don't know what's happening. It's weird.
Don't leave, matey. You come back. Come back. We have a podcast to do, episode 301 of the lovely podcast. Don't you leave now.
That's the guy that wasn't here for the Centennial 300.
Listen, we haven't celebrated a Centennial anything up until this point. Why start now?
No, that's not true. We did the 100 and the 200. We didn't make a big thing out of it, but we mentioned it. It was a thing.
No, that is not your internet going out. That is the start of the show. I will run the titles. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast. Dedicated in bringing you all the latest information, news, and opinions. This is the best show for new and veteran Guardians alike, where we share tips, tricks, and tools to help you succeed and enjoy playing even more. So with all that said, let me hand you over to your hosts, the Triumph Hunting Titan Night Demon, the pink-panted pansy Peroty, and your Hunter Master Ranger, Mr. No One Respawns in Real Life!
There are some core memories that you just can't get rid of. And one of the core memories is because of freaking Hotel Transylvania, right? And the damn, I do not say blah, 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 unless it's to say that I don't say blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
It's going to be like core memory until the day I die. It's stuck in my brain. Okay. So do you want to do the non-uniform distribution of stuff first and get that out of the way? Or what do you want to do? You want to just knock that out real quick?
Yes, blah, blah, blah. Shall we introduce ourselves? I am Count Night Demon, blah, blah, blah. Along with my familiars. No one respawns in real life. And Peroty, blah, blah, blah.
You missed an opportunity. I could have been Frankenspawn, but, I don't know. If you were going to go with the whole theme.
No, you are my familiars. We established this at the beginning. You cannot do the show without me, apparently.
Yeah, but actually, is Franken?
You and the good lady wife, Nadia.
Nadia. I don't know.
You're more like Frankenfurter.
Isn't that German for hot dog?
You'll have to ask Dimly.
Right? Okay. Well, in case you guys have been under a rock, come to find out, the community has gotten a little...
Why don't you just lead into it? Respawn's right. Respawn has been right all this time, and he wants an apology from everybody. Just go with that.
Why
are you beating around the bush? Why are you saying...
I was going to get to that after I made the point.
Say it first, and then get to the point.
The gloating comes after the point has been made. Okay, you can't gloat until people know why you're gloating. It's just
if you like to do it in order. Gloat, you can look at your report roundup, and I put together the timeline of, hey, this is a thing. No, guys, we checked it's not a thing. No, seriously, here's all the data. Oh, hey, turns out that's a thing.
All right.
We might as well, as you're taking the lead with this, you might as well kind of bring up your Respawns Report roundup and take us through the timeline, because apparently you're not going to be here for the rest of the show. So give us what you got now.
And then gloat, and then you're all set.
Yeah.
All right, we have Spark at Spark D2 on X says, "Yo, at Destiny 2 team, it seems like the new VS Chill inhibitors perks are weighted dun 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 against Envious Arsenal and Bait and Switch, and I proved it with a binomial test." So there's a chart right here that shows stuff. Okay, now
Where's this chart? Who's got the chart?
Spark at Spark D2 on X has the chart, right?
Okay.
And I'm trying to make it. He has the chart here, but he doesn't like explain the chart.
The chart's not useful. It shows a very small number going up to a very high number. You know, it starts low and goes high as the y-axis gets bigger, but he doesn't label which is which. But
It doesn't tell us anything.
basically, hey, the binomial test, which is an exact test of statistical significance of deviations from a theoretical expected distribution of observations in two categories. So basically, probably going, hey, we should be seeing something that is not this beautifully, slope of data if it was actually random and not weighted in a weird way. But it's weighted in a weird way. So the chart is the least important thing, but it's like, hey, this doesn't look right.
I'm guessing the x-axis is the number of drops, and the y-axis is the number of expected times to see the perk. So this should be like a linear progression, or at least a random dot matrix. But instead, it almost looks like it tapers off, right? It starts off as a linear, and then tapers off into a non-linear, and just it's like, hey, I've gotten like 1,000 drops, and there's no increase in drop rate for this perk pool that we're looking for, kind of thing.
So he does go on. I didn't realize later on in his thread, he does go on to say how he got the data, how much data he got, which is sort of, if you're interested, he even has the equation he used to calculate this. If you're interested in the math, you can go to Spark D2's Twitter thread and read this whole very, very long breakdown. But this was just sort of the intro to this whole thing.
And then we have at Destiny 2 team, hey y'all, we've had a conversation with our sandbox folks this morning about this. There's no perk weighing active for any legendary perks in Destiny 2. I wonder if this is going to come back to bite him in the butt. Let's find out. We've added a perk attunement for exotic class items in a recent update, but that's a different system. Ooh.
So that was Monday. Monday they said, hey, we checked. No, we're good. We checked. Everything's fine.
Okay. All right. Regarding further reports of perk weighting, while we have confirmed that there is no intentional perk weighting on weapons within our content setup, we are not investigating a potential issue within our code for how RNG perks are generated. Many thanks to all players who have been contributing to data collection across the community. This data has been monumentally helpful with our investigation, and we are currently working on internal simulations to confirm your findings. We will provide more information as soon as this is available.
So that was Thursday. So 3 days after looking at this going, that does seem to be an issue.
Okay, we have Light.gg re-perk drama, a new tool to help visualize this issue, and there's a link. Oh my. Okay, hold on. Okay, so when you click the link, it takes you to Light.gg, and they have grids of accrued redemption, for example, and all the perks available. Not all the perks, just the main two perk columns that we care about, not really the barrels and the magazines and whatnot, but just the main two perks. And it shows a grid, a graph, a chart, and shows the percentages of how likely or unlikely you are to get a certain combination. For example, this is awful. You are 0.666% likely to get a successful warm-up and explosive head on a roll. So, as an example, you are, looks like the most likely to get a combination of kinetic tremors and Archer's Tempo. That's actually not a bad roll, So a crude redemption, you have the highest chance to get a kinetic tremor with an archer's tempo. I mean, if you were gonna be weighted, that would be a good weight to have, I would think, right? And then it goes into all kinds of other weapons. You got the Ancient Gospel, Anonymous Autumn, Bittersweet, Bygones. Hello, Bygones. You're most likely to get the Headseeker Keep Away. So for you PvP players, there you go. You're most likely to get Headseeker Keep Away. You are. Ooh, there's a lot of black on that chart. There's a lot of really low percentages on the Bygones. Yowza. Anyway, Chroma Rush, Deadlock, Exuvier?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Ignition Code, Insurmountable, Legato 11. How long does this list go? Oh, it's quite lengthy. Okay, there's a lot of weapons on here.
The point wasn't to read the whole list. The point was they put together a tool to help visualize what the odds are for getting rolls on this.
Oh, you can look up any weapon on here. Oh, they got to put every weapon in the game. Oh,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. The point was sort of exposing this data to everyone.
All right. So now we've seen the charts.
Sort of giving Bungie a tool to also go, hey, here's what we're seeing on our end as players who are receiving these drops.
What are you seeing your end, Bungie? Because we're giving you this data of this is what we're kind of getting. Are you seeing this on your end? There's also another website called D2-Loot-Tracker, which I will put in the show notes, which you can actually link your own account to track if you're kind of doing farming for certain weapons, especially like the new weapons like that Verse Inhibitor and whatever else it is.
What's it called? D2.tracker?
No, it's called D2-Loot-Tracker dot Versal.
Versal?
Yeah, Versal.
Okay. So if you just type D2-Loot-Tracker, it'll Google it for you.
Okay, but I can put it in the show notes, and you can link your own account to this if you are doing farming, and you can then check. It will check your inventory by doing a scrape through the inventory, and then you can check through what roles that you're more likely to get. And if you tab on you go along the top and click on roles, it will show you kind of like I've got the Perfect Paradox and Martyr's Retribution and Breachlight up there to start off with because those are the weapons for the season, and it shows you the combinations that you're more likely to kind of get based on people that have kind of signed into this, whereas what combinations you are less likely to get. So some of them, like the Versatile Inhibitor, people want to get the Envious. It's Envious Arsenal, isn't it? Where you can swap.
Envious Assassin and Bait and Switch is not the one people are hunting. We're saying that no one is getting.
Yeah, it's like on this chart at the moment, 6 people that have logged into this have got it compared to, and it's because of where the perks are in line with, when we kind of go to Destiny Item Manager, D2 Foundry, and it will show you a list of like the 3rd and 4th column perks for a weapon. Now, depending on where they are in the API, if like say Rhyme Stealer is opposite Chill Clip, you're more likely to kind of get that than any other role on a weapon if it's on that weapon. Or so Rhyme Stealer and say close to melee, or Rhyme Stealer and say Swashbuckler, because they kind of rotate round. So if it's at the top of the list, it kind of goes to the bottom of the first one. It's really weird how it kind of works out, because a lot of people, and even Respawn, were saying like, and when you kind of pop a couple of engrams with like vendors and things, sometimes you'll get the same weapon with the same couple of perks, maybe slightly with a different masterwork kind of thing. And you're like, that shouldn't happen. Surely it should be random. And this is the kind of information that has now been provided to Bungie to say, look, it's not as random as you thought it was going to be. And listening to Ibontis on his podcast, he was saying that it's very hard, and I'm just going to go to Peroty for this, very hard to put into a computer to get randomness out of like random generation. Is that correct? I guess if you're kind of
there is no such thing as true RNG in the computer world.
Yeah. There's randomness, but there's only so much true randomness.
Right.
If you with a big enough principle, you can have things be more or less random, but there is no true random, because at the end of the day, somebody programmed this algorithm to be quote random, and it's going to have some some amount of weighting to it,
Yeah.
but not what we're seeing.
Yeah. And the more people that kind of log into this and track it will kind of help like the community and Bungie see how far this kind of goes back, because it could go back as far as when I think initially when we all were saying that perks were weighted, and Bungie like years back, we're talking like years back, Bungie was saying no, there's no perk weighting. It's this and that. It is all just random. But we're going to give you crafting because we want to kind of mitigate some of that. And I think it goes back probably even further than that. And you kind of logging into this and giving them the information will probably help even further. But anyway, sorry, Respawn, continue.
Oh, you're fine. All right. So now that we've seen the chart and we've discussed the chart, let's finish the post. It says, so after Light GG developed this tool for us. By the way, God send to these guys. I'm shocked that they don't like have like a Patreon or some way to like donate to them, because they do. They do.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome! I've never seen it on their site. Whatever. I'm gonna have to look it up next time, because they do the Lord's work. And every time somebody's like, "Oh, you still use Light.gg? Why don't you use whatever other people have suggested to me?" I still use Light.gg. I like the way it works.
There's a big button that says remove all ads. And if you click that, there's a way to give them money.
So that's their thing. Gotcha. All right. So it says, I do think something is going on. I don't think Bungie would intentionally do this, and also give us tools / the API to catch it happening. I do think people need to chill. Full Q&A, top of the page, link above. So I think he's right. I don't think Bungie would intentionally do this after saying, hey, we don't want to do this. We want to keep it as truly random as possible. It come to find out, actually, we might get to it. Hold on. Let me see if I'm jumping ahead. All right. Our team has been working through community source data and internal simulations to reproduce reported issues regarding legendary weapon perk RNGs. After investigation, we can confirm an issue has been found in our code where some random perk combinations are harder to earn per legendary weapon perk set. In some cases, desirable perk combinations are a bit easier to earn as well. While we inspected our content and confirmed each perk is weighted equally, an issue in perk pool RNG is the culprit here. Our team has quickly identified a potential solution to the issue, and we are rapidly working to validate the fix. We are aiming to address this as soon as possible, and we'll share a planned hotfix date when available. It's probably going to be on a Tuesday reset, so don't get your hopes up. Let's see. Did that. Here we go. All right. Destiny 2 team says, can we get a deeper breakdown of the issue? Sorry, they're replying to somebody saying, can we get a deeper breakdown of the issue? They say, we'd love to, but for right now, we're focusing on fixing up the issue and getting it out to you. After that, we'll be sitting down with the team to discuss all the nitty-gritty details. All right. So, and now it goes into PvP. All right, so then they didn't really discuss it. So what I've seen on the internet that some of our internet detectives have found is that...
Take with a grain of salt from this point onward.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I'm not saying this is fact. I'm saying what the internet detectives have found, right, is they've said because of how, like, everything is a database, right? Everything is in a database. All the perk pools, all the weapons, everything in the game is in a database of some kind. And the way that these perks... I'm sorry, not the way. The position in the database that these perks are placed is in a numerical order, right? And if they happen to place two perks, let's say Kill Clip Headseeker, both of those happen to be at the bottom of the list. You know how when you look at Light.gg, how you see all the perk pools and they're from top to bottom, right? Visualize that. The perks at the bottom would have a higher number than the ones at the top. And the higher number is least likely to be rolled than the lower numbers. That's what our internet detectives have found out, right? So based on how these perks have been put in the database for this particular weapon is currently determining how easy or difficult it is to get the desirable perk roll that you're looking for. Supposedly. So, again, take it with a grain of salt. That's just what they've come across, if you were curious to know.
And I think I saw Bungie say somewhere, or I feel like I saw it somewhere that they're looking for a... Actually, I should go look at Twitter again, because this brought us to, like, the like 3:00 on Friday is basically where that stopped.
Yeah, I mean, let's give it to them. They have been very communicative with the community about it. I know they came out and flatly denied it because they probably didn't think there was anything in the database to kind of give the weighting to these kind of things, because that's not what they kind of programmed it to. But then with the community finding out stuff, they've then kind of gone back and had a look and done testing, and then they've kind of come out and gone, oh, actually, maybe you are right. We will look into this. And they've continued the conversation, and they are still continuing the conversation now.
But as Peroty will tell you, and me, and anybody who's ever worked in technology, it's never your fault until it is. They genuinely didn't think it was their fault. So stop attacking them like they did this, like they're being deceptive. They didn't know.
Right. I mean, and for one, the community team probably went back to the, whichever team and was like, hey guys, we're getting a lot of reports of this. Is there anything to this? And of course the team was like, well, no, because there shouldn't have been. That was not the intention. That's not what they coded and wrote. And then, like GG said, they've given us the API for people to build tools like Light GG on. And like I said, they wouldn't be doing this and then literally give us players and other developers the tools to point back at them and go, well, no, you clearly are doing this. I mean, again, this game is 10 years old. How many, when was the code wrote to weight the perks and how many times has it changed and all of this? And, it's easy to go, hey, it feels like I'm seeing this. And yeah, it feels like I'm seeing these perks weighted differently for me or for my friends. But, it's very similar to feeling like, hey, I feel like I've played the same map in PvP 10 times in a row. And you go back and look and you're like, okay, well, it was like 10 times out of my last 15 matches, but it feels like that's all I was seeing because that's what you remember because brains are funny and like patterns. It's different to go back and say, hey, this is happening to me versus, hey, here's all of the data from all of the people, or, here's a huge sample size. This seems to be a thing we're seeing. It's not just one or two people. It's everyone. It's everywhere. It's, the combined stats of the community getting these drops. Something seems to be off. So, it's like, I appreciate when the community can get together and put things together like this to say, hey, we're seeing something and here's the data to back up what we're seeing, because that's much more actionable than being like, I think you're doing something. I think you're out to something. And yeah, going and screaming at the developers is not going to do any good. Screaming at people isn't going to get you what you want. When has that ever worked for you? So yeah, just calm down. That was basically the FAQ they referred to as chill. Everybody chill. It's a video game. Relax. And that's my 2 cents after watching this play out remotely over the internet in the last week. I'm going, oh, this is going to be good community drama as always.
Well, I'm glad it kind of played out in a positive way. That Bungie have kind of gone away and investigated and actually found that there's an issue and they're going to address it. And I mean, the only downside is that people can't they can still do their farming if they want to kind of get this versus chill inhibitor. But, you at least know, or the majority of the community know that it's kind of bugged. So it's down to you. And I think by the time that they kind of figure out how to do it, they'll also patch some of the kind of cheeses that are available in the dungeon to kind of bypass and do the farming so quick on some of the kind of the first and second encounter at least. So we're going to have people moaning the other end that, yes, they fixed it, but they've also fixed the cheeses and the things. So, you can't have your cake and eat it. Unfortunately, it's going to be one of those things. They're going to double hit it. They're going to patch it, and they're going to also kind of fix the cheeses. So Respawn's going to be upset with that as well. So if you can farm,
I'm not really farming the dungeon because, look, although people have said that there's a lot of stuff that's good in there, none of it's really piqued my interest yet. So I'm not invested in the dungeon yet. What I will say though is this: people reached out to me about this, saying some pretty harsh things like, "Oh, well, I guess it's pointless to play Destiny now because now we know things are weird." I was like, "Look, I know it's aggravating." And
you've been doing it this way for how many years? Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed.
Well, the way I was coming at it is like, look, I never expected me to freak out, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, right? So let's look at it like this: it's not pointless to play Destiny. Just think of it as the role that you want has the same rate as an exotic drop. So you still have a chance to get it. It might be really, really, really small, but it will still drop. At least now we're not confused as to why it's dropping. We know it's rated differently. So we can go into it with the mindset of, well, this has the same rate of drop as an exotic, so hammer it out until I get it. Or you can get upset at the game and uninstall it. There's really only your options here.
But I think the problem was that with looking at the actual kind of loot that is dropping, even if you farm it and you get 600 drops, it's going to be still very rare to get that drop. So it's worse than an exotic, or a chance at exotic. Some people are saying anyway. But I mean, a lot of people have experienced that. Done 200 runs of Deepstone Crypt and still haven't got their Eyes of Tomorrow. I mean, it is what it is, unfortunately. And sometimes I think that is not that it's healthy for the game to kind of be weighted like this, but I think it sometimes is healthy for the game to get people to keep playing and keep doing activities because they're chasing that god roll. That's the good part about it. It kind of goes back to the original Destiny of that. You're constantly chasing the exotics to drop. You could be playing the game all week, 4 hours a day, and not see one exotic, and then the next week you log in, you do your nightfall, and bang, you get that exotic. It was that kind of euphoria moment about it, and it's kind of the same thing with this, but not kind of fair because of the way it's kind of weighted.
Yeah, I mean, and again, you're still playing the same game you've been playing. Nothing has changed in your experience. Only now you have knowledge you did not have before. Nothing has changed about the way things have been dropping since they introduced crafting. Since however long this bug has been in the game for, it's been there, likely for a while, for a long time, like years. So nothing has changed in how you're playing the game. If you're going to freak out over this, then go play something else. Take a break. Come back when they fix it. It's this is the same game you've been playing. Nothing has changed in the game you've been playing. Now you just have greater knowledge than you did before. Is it infuriating? Yeah, probably. If you've been farming for something and just not getting it and going something is wrong, yeah, you were right. Something was wrong. And now we've a problem has been found. It's going to be fixed.
Like the Martyr's Retribution, the Keel Clip, freaking Incandescent. I look at the API, it's got one of the highest drop chances, right? I have gotten all the drop chances with like 10 or 11 in the columns, and I still ain't got that one. So I don't know how accurate these are. So just keep going until you get the roll that you want, because apparently I'm getting rolls nobody else is getting, and I'm not getting the roll other people are. So your mileage may vary.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, how many millions of data points are in here for people playing this game? You're one of those. You could very well be in that 0.02% of something, when that 0.02% is you and your 20,000 closest friends. There's a lot of people playing this game getting a lot of drops. So have you converted to car mode now, Rovie Reporter?
I think he has, isn't he?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Very good. Well, I'll mention in the stream of all the perk weighting things coming out. They also mentioned they missed a patch note in patch 8.10 regarding the ignition damage versus bosses. After an initial ignition, bosses now gain progressively higher damage resistance to the ignitions that occur over a short amount of time. 5 seconds of damage resistance from last ignition to take place. We've identified an issue where the subsequent ignitions are doing far less damage than intended. They're planning on to tune the damage resistance appropriately and for it only to apply to the Vespers Host dungeon boss Ranix the Unified, rather than it being game-wide. And they're planning to push this fix in update 8.15, planned for mid-November. Stay tuned. So if you've been doing lots of ignition damage and going, this doesn't seem like it's doing as much damage as it should be, you are correct. And they're apparently going to tweak it for just the one boss in mid-November.
I wonder if this is because of the Hunter and the Titan builds that are just blowing everything up. Because now that they've reworked the Trip Mine build, like, the Trip Mine build is back, and it's better than what it was before, if you guys didn't know. Because now instead of grenade kills or grenade hits, now it's ability hits. So you're getting that grenade back real fast. So you chuck in those grenades, and if you have gunpowder gamble on as well, So you have the gunpowder gamble ignitions and the trip mine ignitions. And then you have, obviously, your Titans with your triple consecrations, right? So a lot of ignitions happening in the game right now.
Yeah. Not as much fire happening as should be happening. Yeah, that was. I was thinking they had said. I was like, I knew they said something about a mid-November patch, and I couldn't remember for which thing it was. But yeah, it was the ignition thing, not the perk waiting yet. Also, if you are playing PvP, we're looking into some inconsistencies for rank gains and losses in the competitive Crucible playlist. Until this is resolved, they're making some slight changes to the amount of rank that can be gained or lost for each match. This should mitigate the effects of the issue until they investigate and figure out a patch. So basically, if you're playing comp, you'll see some adjustment to the amount of rank you're getting and losing. And finally, for trials, as you head into the class-based trials for this weekend, we have a few notes. They've identified an issue where some players are not receiving your trials vendor engrams as they progress trials rep. As such, they've enabled increased trials reputation for the weekend. So you may not get engrams to drop, but you're getting your rep increased either way. You may also get your engrams to drop because they're just saying it's some people. A new flawless shader should now be available in the flawless chest, and this week also features increased Crucible loot drops. This applies to trials as well. So this all adds up to the following: trials reputation, post-match, and flawless chest rewards are increased. That's a lot of loot. So if you're playing trials, there you go. You can get more stuff from it.
Cool.
And that was the end of the parade of broken or glitchy things, I think. I'm double checking, like, have they snuck? Oh, and they also mentioned on the 23rd, Bungie help. Earlier this week, we auto-completed the Timeline Reflection Guardian Rank 4 objective due to Cade's Fate mission not advancing in the Security Hub. A fix is being investigated. They'll tell us when that's out, but until then, if you've been stuck on Guardian Rank 4, they've auto-completed for you, so you can actually get through it onward and upward.
You can do stuff.
Yeah. The Tonic Brewing Guide quest isn't updating when creating tonics for some people.
No. Our friend Andy had an issue with that this week because he was like, messaged me and he was
No.
like, please help me figure out what I'm doing wrong. I was like, broadcast me your screen. So we went on Discord. He showed me his screen. I was like, just repurchase those over and over again.
Yeah,
and
just
after
buy them
about
and
after about the 10th one, it kind of then popped up for him, and he was like, oh my god, I've been purchasing like one or two of each thing and thought I was just kind of done. I was like, no, you just have to just keep going for it with like the green ones until a blue one pops up, and then just repeatedly buy the blue ones until a purple one pops up, and then you're sorted. And then he kind of had other things then open up. But it was the kind of same thing that I experienced that first week. It was like, what wrong? I've purchased these. It just says go and find more ingredients and find more tonics. I'm like, how? But yeah, I think
where? How? Give me a clue.
I think even with them putting it in the TWAB last week, they kind of did a full breakdown, so you can go and read that from last week if you're still struggling. But it is literally, you get some ingredients given to you, you pop as many as you can kind of get to then unlock the blue one, and then go off and farm and get some ingredients and things. And the good news is, next week, the Into the Deep farm that is on the moon that you can kind of do to just stand in one place and just farm Thrall over and over and over again with your Graviton Lance or anything that kind of just procs explosions over and over again. So any kind of Volt Shot weapon, any kind of what's the solar one, the ignition
incandescent.
So anything, even if you haven't got exotics like that, you can kind of go to, I think Cheese Forever did a video on it, so I will link that back in the show notes if anybody wants to kind of do it. You will get kind of the first two lots of ingredients, the blue ingredients, and you'll get like those little pink purple bally things kind of zoned to you after kind of repeatedly killing them. But so if you want to kind of do that farm is up again next week, Into the Deep on the moon. I think you do have to own Shadowkeep for that. So as I'm kind of here now telling you about stuff happening next week, shall I drop what's happening in this upcoming week into the show now? Probably be a best place to do it.
Probably a good place to do it as any.
This is your weekly rundown of episode Revenant, week 4, starting on October 29th. Week 4 sees Destiny's Halloween event, Fest of the Lost, begin. running from October 29th to November 18th and is free to all players. This spooky event sees Guardians collect and adorn festival masks and earning manifested pages by completing activities. And this year you can earn additional manifested pages and Eerie engrams by defeating headless ones in the Haunted Lost Sector playlist. Returning these pages to the Book of Forgotten in the Tower will unlock lore, event challenges and additional rewards. Voted on by the community, the Good Wizard Bad Wizard ornament set will be available for 6,000 Bright Dust, or 1,500 silver from the Eververse store. And joining the long list of masks from previous festivals, this year will feature 8 new masks to adorn your Guardian with: Runner, Nezarec, Cursed Thrall, KD5530, Cade 6, Witness, Finalized Ghost, and Tower Staff. This year will also see the brand new Arc Heavy Burst Shotgun Arcane Embrace as the featured weapon, along with previous festival weapons with updated perk pools: the Kinetic Precision Frame Auto Rifle Braytech Werewolf, the Arc Aggressive Frame Sniper Macabre, the Void Rapid Fire Frame Grenade Launcher A Cosmic, and the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Pulse Rifle Jurassic Green. Along with these weapons, the Fest of the Lost event card returns, with more challenges, title and unique rewards. Also earnable is the Lost Memento, which you can put into your crafted weapons to gain access to the All Black Shader Twilight Keepsake. And if you missed out on grabbing the Super Black Shader from Into the Light, don't worry, as you will have another chance to grab it from this event. In addition to these shaders, you can also earn the Spectral Carapace emblem. Plus, the Hocus Focusing with Exotics is returning from last year's event. And as a final cherry on the top, this year exotic class items will be available to purchase directly from Eva for 1 Eerie engram and 2,500 candy. You can purchase as many as you like, and if you have achievement unlocked, you're guaranteed to get your selected exotic class item achievement perk. Also, if you haven't completed Dual Destiny, you can still purchase the Fest of the Lost exotic class item reward. Over in the last city, we have Onslaught Salvation, which can be accessed after you complete the initial steps of the opening act of Revenant. This new version of Onslaught brings with it new defences, 3 new maps, and new enemies to fight. You can select from Widow's Court, Eventide Ruins, and Kel's Grave, either normal or expert. Also, the original Onslaught has been updated to include some of the new additions. Located in the Vanguard playlist, the featured Onslaught map this week will be Midtown, with the Field Razor Tormentor kicking off the boss rotation. Also available for a weekly pinnacle is the new dungeon Vesper's Host, which can be found over on Europa, with the exotic sniper rifle Icebreaker up for grabs, and a whole suite of new weapons and armour. Just make sure you visit Spider over in the last city to pick up the quest Rogue Network to enter. In the last city on the Helm, the exotic mission Encore is still available, with 2 difficulty options, normal and expert. Also, from episode Echoes, we have the 3 new Battleground activities: Delve, Conduit, and Core, with Enigma Protocol and Breach Executable. The expert Battlegrounds will start this week's rotation with Delve. In the Pale Heart, the exotic mission Dual Destiny is available for teams of 2 Guardians, where you can farm the mission to earn as many new prismatic exotic class items as you like. The final straight cooperative focus campaign mission this week will be Ascent. The 12 Guardian Matchmade Excision mission is also available next to the race for a weekly pinnacle, with the Grandmaster version granting the Ergo Sum Catalyst and an Ascendant Shard. The Dreaming City this week is at a strong curse level, which means Pet Revenge can be found in Ria Silvia and has the Dark Monastery mission for the next week. The Blindwell features Taken Enemies and the Plague Ina Mina. The Ascendant Challenge will be the Keep of Owned Edges over in the Harbinger's Seclude. On the Moon, the weekly story mission is in the Deep. The Trove Guardian is located in the Hellmouth, while the Wandering Nightmare is the Nightmare of Hawkins in the Anchor of Light. Nightmare hunts Fogoth, Fear, Ghoul, Rage, and Tanix Isolation. The Altars of Sorrow will start this week's rotation with the Nightmare of Fogoth and the Blasphemer Shotgun. On Europa this week, Praxisi Technocrat will be the Empire Hunt, Cadmus Ridge will be the Eclipse Zone, and the Exo Challenge will be Safeguard. Days of Eternity Expert difficulty rounds are Hive, Vex, and Valista Arc. The Scatterhorn armor set and the Pathfind armor set will be available in Days of Eternity with weapons at 4. Fractithis, Chrysia Amilo, Volpicula, Wolftone Draw, Iotona Draconis, Canis Major, Contingency Plan, Legal Action 2, Outrageous Fortune, Steel Syllabus C14, and Spoiler Alert. The Witch Queen Weekly Story mission is the Communion, Altar of Reflections Catalyst, and Altar of Reflections Insight. The Wellspring activity will start the week on Attack, with the Arc Auto Rifle Come to Pass, and Golmag Hive Ogre as the boss. The Lightfall Weekly mission is Breakneck, the Partition mission will be Hard Reset, and the Vex Incursion will be Liming Harbour. The Salvation Jade Raid Challenge this week is the 4th encounter, Verity, called Varied Geometry. The Root of Nightmares Raid Challenge this week is the 4th encounter, Nezarec, called All Hands. The Kingsville Raid Challenge this week is the 1st encounter, Totems, called The Grass is Always Greener. The Vow the Disciple Challenge this week is the 1st encounter, Acquisition, called Swift Destruction. The Deepstone Crypt Challenge this week is the 3rd encounter, Tanix Part 1, called Of All Trades. The Garden of Salvation Challenge this week is the 1st encounter, Embrace, called To the Top. And the Last Wish Challenge this week is the 1st encounter, Kali, called Summoning Ritual. Featured Pinnacle Raid 1 will be Crota's End over in the Legends tab. And featured Pinnacle Raid 2 will be the Vault of Glass, also in the Legends tab, with all challenges available for all encounters. with the exotic auto rifle Necrochasm being farmable from the final boss in Crota's Zen, and the exotic fusion rifle Vex Mythoclast from the final boss in Vault. Featured Pinnacle Dungeon 1 will be the Grasp of Avarice over on the Cosmodrome, and featured Pinnacle Dungeon 2 will be the Warlord's Ruin over on the EDZ. The exotic mission rotator will be Operation Seraph Shield, with the Revision Zero exotic pulse rifle being the main reward, the Season of the Ceres weapon set, and Ikelos weapon set, with the Warmind's Avatar armor set. The exotic missions, the Whisper and Zero Hour will also be available in the Legends tab. This week's challenges are Rare Herbalist, Above and Beyond, Performance Enhance, Expert Sector, and Grandmaster. Lost Sectors, Tuesday the Forgotten Deep in the Pale Heart, Wednesday Extraction on the Throne World, Thursday Sepulture on the Throne World, Friday Metamorphosis on the Throne World, Saturday K1 Revelations on the Moon, Sunday Bay of Dome Wishes on the Dreaming City, and Monday Chamber of Starlight on the Dreaming City. Our fourth featured Nightfall will see the return of the Grandmaster Nightfall node, with us facing off against Alakul in the Lightblade over on the Throne World, with the new Stasis Aggressive Frame Glaive, Rake Angle, as the featured adept weapon. The 6v6 playlist should be Control, Mayhem should be in the Party Relentless playlist, Countdown in the 3v3 playlist, Class Clash in Crucible Labs, and Trials of Osiris at the weekend. This week should also see bonus Vanguard ranks and double Nightfall rewards available all week long. Still available is the Destiny 10th Anniversary in-game celebration event, and don't forget to keep an eye on Xur this Friday at Reset to see if he's offering another chance to grab a random rolled exotic class item for 41 strange coins. And that's it for the fourth week of the Final Shape episode Revenant. So yeah, that's the stuff. I mean, again, with the caveat that Crucible is still unknown. I mean, if I'd have known that there would be class-based trials this upcoming week or this weekend that we're currently in, then I would have told people. But I know that they did say that it was coming. They just didn't kind of give us a date for it. It could be, I think it should be Mayhem next week. And the week that we had the challenge to do Rift, I didn't realise it was going to be 3v3 Rift that hasn't kind of been around for a very long time. Normally Rift is in the 6v6 playlist, and they put it in the 3v3 playlist because
3v3 like trials or 3v3 like comp.
3v3 like there's three of you playing Rift.
Yeah, 6v6 is normally Control or Iron Banner or Sparrow Control. Or you have a 6v6 Party Relentless list, which was the one that they kind of combined over the last couple of seasons, which had all your kind of fun modes in there. So you've got Supremacy, Relic, Memento Control, Rift, Mayhem, Zone Control, Scorched, Clash is in there as well. And then you have a 3v3 set, which then gets replaced at the weekend if Trials is up. So it's been on a rotation. It has been like Countdown, Showdown, Elimination, Survival. And then suddenly they just threw in this 3v3 Rift, which we haven't had since... I want to say season 23, and they just went, no, we're going to throw that back in there, not tell anybody, and throw the class clash in there as well. It's like, great. Yeah. So it is what it is. And if they're sticking with the same rotations that they did for episode Echoes, then
which they will not be.
No, for the Nightfalls, it should be the Lightblade that comes back up again this week with the Grandmasters. If they don't and they go back to the old way, it will be Birthplace of the Vile. But I'm pretty confident it's going to be Lightblade because this is the new system that they're kind of running with in the episodes, that they do 3 Nightfalls and then they do repeat the Nightfalls again with different modifiers like we discussed in previous episodes. And so it go Lightblade, Proving Ground and Heist, Battlegrounds, Moon, and then Birthplace of the Vile will appear on week 7. Arms Dealer and then Inverted Spire will be week 9. Then it will repeat again for 3 weeks, and then we'll have the last 3 of the Nightfall. So it's be Liminality, Corrupted, and Battlegrounds Behemoth. And then that'll be repeated till week 18, and then we get our new episode. So with me kind of telling you about what's happening or coming up this week, we can kind of roll straight into this week at Bungie for the 24th of October 2024, because that kind of leads into the Fest of the Lost, because it is nearly here. It is returning for, I believe it's the 8th year. I was looking back on YouTube to get some clips to do the video, and it was like, because we did have it in Destiny 1 and then Destiny 2, so I think it's been going for about 8 years. I could be wrong, but we've had it quite a lot in Destiny 2. And Eva Levante is back in the tower with all her kind of decorations and pumpkins. And there'll be candy hidden in the trees, so don't forget to go and collect those. No chocolate coins anymore. I think they've gone. And spectral pages, they've gone as well. We're just going to get manifested pages. So we had to go through the doing activities to get spectral pages to then go into our haunted lost sectors last year to then transform them into manifested pages by defeating headless ones. Bungie have said, you know what, we're just going to let you farm as many manifested pages as you like, and you can get them in any activity you like. They will drop, and you'll get more of them in the haunted lost sectors. So, hurrah! Are we feeling spooky? I should do the voice again.
I'm feeling better because the whole page transforming thing I was aggravated about last time. So this is a positive change.
And the good thing about this is I think we found this out last year, is that the manifested pages, you could collect them, and I think it's the Book of the Lost, that the Book of the Forgotten, which gave you lore entries for kind of the Fest of the Lost. And if you missed out on the previous years, those pages were still able to be completed last year through the manifested pages. I don't think it kind of gave you any rewards for doing the previous years, but you could actually go back and do the previous years with your manifested pages and catch up. So if you missed out on kind of doing that in the previous couple of years, or you have never done it, then you can farm as many manifested pages as you like and get your book filled out, which would be really cool because there's lots of lore in there. So as with all years, fly to the tower, meet Eva Levante, and she will give you a Masquerader's hood, and you can get started from there with the festival. And the good thing is, if you got one like in previous years, you could adorn it again. And the same with your masks. Now, the masks are in your collections, I believe, under miscellaneous. If you've collected previous masks, you can then also go to your kind of Masquerader's helmet, drop down, and it will give you kind of a selection of masks if you want to kind of adorn a different mask. And I think it's the Cryptarch, isn't it, that she gives you as the kind of the base mask. So if you don't want to look like the Cryptarch, you can kind of adorn it with anything else kind of from the festival. And
chicken, always the chicken.
It's always the Colonel. This year in the TWAB, they've given you a picture of some of the masks that are available, but the actual masks that are available in the database are Runner, Cursed Thrall, KD5530, Cade 6, Nezarec, Finalized Ghost, and Tower Staff. And the one that's missing from the picture in the TWAB is the Witness Mask. It is in there because I have seen it from, I think it was Destiny Leaks. It's in the database. It is there. So maybe that's the one that is. There's always one or two that are available for just silver. And I'm always like kind of, I don't think I did it last year. I think previous years, they were a good mask. I think like the Colonel mask and things like that. And I know there are a couple of them that they throw in there in Eververse, but I don't know if they're kind of coming up in the next couple of weeks because I think people complained about that. So it might just be something you kind of, that the Witness Mask might be one that you earn from kind of doing all the triumphs.
First Thrall mask is awfully good looking. Might replace the chicken this year. Although there is the other mask with the fork taped to the front of it, which I'm not sure. In the bottom left here, I'm not sure who that's meant to be, but that seems ridiculous enough as well.
I mean, yeah, they're just they are quite funny. But how many hunters are going to be running around with the Cade 6 mask?
100% of them, or the Colonel.
Yeah. Better be none of them. Look, it's okay to represent Cade, but you can't be Cade.
They're going to wear his face. They're going to wear his face like a mask.
And the good thing about the Masquerader's helmet that Eva gives you is that it does have stats on it, and you can put armor mods in there. You can level it up. I think last year or the year before was only a kind of a stats of like 61 that I've kind of got in my vault that I'm looking at now. And I'm like, oh, but then previous years ones were really low at like 48. I've still got one from like many moons back. And so, yeah, they're quite cool.
And previous years before that, they had no stats at all. And you took a stat dump. Right?
Yeah.
I'm wondering how many seasons it's going to take them to just let us put it on as an ornament and let us keep our current headgear on. This is ridiculous.
No, not allowed. Only through Fest of the Lost. So completing Haunted Lost Sectors and earning Eerie engrams. Like previous years, Haunted Lost Sectors are going to be one of your best ways to earn rewards. Fight your way through the Haunted Lost Sectors and hordes of headless ones to earn candy, weapons, Eerie engrams, and manifested pages. This year, you'll have the opportunity to grab more Eerie engrams in expert loss sectors, and they'll now have the chance to drop an additional Eerie engram. Eerie engrams you earn can be open for a variety of rewards or can be focused into exotic armor and specific festival weapons. So restoring the Book of Forgotten, as we've talked about, the manifested pages, you can kind of, as you complete the chapters in the book, you'll unlock lore and rewards for the Book of Forgotten. Located next to Eva, it's on a little plinth. You can't miss it. It's kind of to the right of her. So making purchases and focusing armor and weapons will cost candy, which can be earned by defeating enemies and completing activities during the Festival of Loss whilst wearing your mask. Now, again, don't forget to put your mask on. Many a times it's kind of, I know sometimes it's part of your build and you kind of, you need your exotic as your helmet, but you're going to have to swap out, unfortunately, because you need to put the mask on to earn the candy, to get your Eerie engrams, to get your manifested pages, to get more loot. That's the way it is. It's not as simple as kind of put your class item on for the games. It's always been the masks, unfortunately.
You can switch your loadouts
Put on your
around.
chip mine build, put on your mask, and just blow everything up, and you'll be fine.
Remember, when you switch your loadouts around to do something else, also put your mask on. Don't get through the content you were doing and then going, oh, I didn't have a mask on. Whoops. Remember, always wear your mask for safety.
And they've put in the TWAB this time as well that you can also earn a nice helping candy and XP by completing bounties offered by Eva. And you can pick up on each character, and they will be daily, and there'll be, normally there's like 2 weekly ones that they kind of do, and repeatable ones. And yeah, you can kind of do that and get more XP and more candy, whichever way you kind of want to do it. And yeah, that's pretty much the good stuff. Now, the bad stuff, or is it good and evil? Respawn? Are you ready to be a bad wizard or an evil wizard?
Well, everything except for the Ultimate Warrior mask. Yeah.
The Ultimate Warrior mask.
Yeah. If you look at the Hunter mask, it looks like the Ultimate Warrior from what used to be WWF, which is now WWE, right? So look up the Ultimate Warrior wrestler, look at his face paint, and tell me that's not the exact face paint.
You've got a
I'm
strap
going to tell
across your
you.
face.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you. I don't know what set you're looking at, but no, I'm going to tell you that's not his face paint.
No.
What?
Where are you? What are you looking at for this?
Is the hunter on the left or the right? Let's start
Left.
with that
It's
question.
got a cape. Left.
I had to make it bigger, and I was like, oh wait, yeah, the hunter wouldn't be carrying a book around.
Huh.
Yeah, no, like you've got a like purple sash across your eyes, so you can't see out of one of them. So I mean, very emo. So I give you credit there. But
Yeah.
no, I don't think Ultimate Warrior. When I look at that at all, maybe in another view, but with this picture, no.
Is he thinking about the kind of the concept art that they peddled out there a couple of months back? Maybe you're thinking about that.
Bro, that is Ultimate. I knew I was looking at the right one. Bro, that is absolutely Ultimate Warrior plus one. Sorry. Agree to disagree. It's Ultimate Warrior with an eye patch.
No, I'm not happy with that.
Is it because he's got his head turned sideways?
Maybe.
Hmm.
I have to say, I was more excited to get my lovely wizard hat before I became a plague doctor. But now I'm a plague doctor, and now I don't know if I need the good wizard hat. I mean, I'm going to collect it anyway. Let's be honest here, but
yeah,
it's always good to have hat options.
You can't have both, because
No.
Oh, that's right. No, because hunters have the mask and then the headpiece. Titans, you just have the headpiece, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Only hats.
And if you want this, you can head over to the Eververse store when Festival of the Lost begins and grab your set. And I believe it's normally 6,000 bright dust and 1,500 silver if you have no bright dust, and that's per set as well. So don't forget. Then they go over the Arcane Embrace, which is the new heavy burst shotgun, which fires a hard-hitting 2-round burst, slightly reduces flinch from incoming fire whilst aiming. And they go over a couple of the perks. So column 3, they've got 4 times the charm, and column 4, precision instrument, and the origin trait is search party. Is this something that we're interested in?
You're overlooking a very important perk on a shotgun. which is Volt Shot, right? So Volt Shot, you fire a round, you rack around, Volt Shot is active. You got to remember, shotgun's not a mag-fed weapon. It is a round-fed weapon. So you fire one, you load it, Volt Shot is active.
Yeah, okay.
Can it roll with Volt Shot?
Yes, it can. I'm just about to go through the perks for you. So Search Party is your origin trait. This weapon is granted fast aim down sight speed and movement speed whilst aiming down sights while no allies are near. And it can roll with, in the third column, Air Trigger, Fourth Time's the Charm, Grave Robber, Lone Wolf, Slide Shot, Dual Loader, and Threat Detector, with the new trait of Closing Time, which improves range, accuracy, and handling as the magazine gets lower. Desperado, Precision Instrument, Surrounded, Tap the Trigger, Swashbuckler, and a Volt Shot.
Thanks for putting Closing Time in my head. Appreciate that.
Why? What's that got to do with anything?
It's
the song.
Okay.
I'm right there with you, Peroty.
You're welcome, everybody. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. We're also getting some refreshed weapon perks. We all have our familiar lineup of weapons, but updated perk pools. As we mentioned, we don't want to give away too many details, so here's some fun perk combinations that you may or may not be able to get. We'll find out later. So we have the Macabre Aggressive Arc Sniper Rifle, which, if history repeats itself, they give you the first one, and then you never have to care again because they just hand you a god roll out of the gate. But this one's going to have Lone Wolf in the third column, Closing Time in the fourth column, and the origin trait is, of course, Search Party. Your Jurassic Green Rapid Fire Solar Pulse Rifle is going to have Loose Change in the third column, Incandescent in the fourth column, and will have an origin trait of Search Party or Field Tested.
And you can get, if I'm not mistaken, Heal and Incandescent on that gun.
Delicious. Your Braytech Werewolf, your Precision Kinetic Auto Rifle, is going to have Rewind rounds in the third column, Onslaught in the fourth column, and your origin trait of Search Party.
And that one can roll with Rewind and Kinetic Tremors on the Braytech Werewolf.
No.
That is going to be amazing.
You don't want that. What you want
Excuse me, what?
Rewind rounds and Onslaught. Trust me, go with me on this. It's going to be amazing.
Okay, Onslaught, you have to kill something first, right?
Final
and
blows
Rewind is rounds landed.
Yeah, and increase its rate of fire for Onslaught. And Rewind rounds is when this magazine is empty, it refills from reserve based on the number of hits. So if you killed somebody with that, it's going to refill, and you can carry on killing with your Onslaught.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You're thinking of rank and file. I play, especially since Grandmasters is coming out, I'm not thinking rank and file. I'm thinking of...
No, I'm not thinking rank and file. I'm thinking PvP.
Okay, fair enough. I'm thinking high health targets. So for me, it's absolutely going to be Rewind and Kinetic Tremors, 100%.
Okay.
So would that do more damage than the extra bullets you get from Onslaught? I'm
Not
asking
only
because
will
I
it
have
do
no
extra
idea.
damage because Kinetic Tremors does more damage just per pulse, right? It also does AoE damage.
Well, very good.
Yeah.
And then finally, there's the Cosmic Rapid Fire Void Grenade Launcher with Withering Gaze in the third column, Bait and Switch in the fourth column, and you can get your Search Party or Nadir as your origin trait.
Yeah. I mean, it's...
Finally.
With that one, it can roll with Deconstruction. That one has Bait and Switch, Chain Reaction, Destabilizing Rounds, Explosive Light, and Cascade Point. With Clown Cartridge, Enlightened Action, Impulse Amplifier, Air Trigger, Slick Draw, Reverberation, and Withering Gaze.
Are we missing there's a weapon that's coming back that used to be kinetic and is now grand.
No.
Which one is that?
No, No. You are thinking of the Horror Story, which they reintroduced last year, and that came back as Stasis. But the problem was last year they missed out the Braytech Werewolf. That didn't come back last year, so they've brought back the Braytech this year.
It wasn't Stasis; it was still kinetic last year, right? This is the first year it's going to be Stasis, isn't it?
No. Last year, Horror Story came back as a Stasis, and it was 100%. I've got one in my vault. I'm looking at it now, and they didn't bring back the Braytech Werewolf because we thought the Braytech Werewolf, the horror story, the macabre, the cosmic were all kind of going to be the weapons, but they didn't bring back the Braytech Werewolf. So this year they're bringing back the Braytech Werewolf and not bringing back the horror story. So, yeah, sorry, it's not in the lineup.
You know what? My apologies. I thought it was.
No,
I mean, correctly.
I've checked. It's just last year and season 11. But yeah,
there you go.
And what do we miss? Jurassic Green, as you said, can have Under Pressure, Kill Clip, Adrenaline Junkie, Desperate Measures, Frenzy, Headseeker, and Incandescent because it's a solo weapon. With Closing Time, Lone Wolf, Loose Change, Keep Away, Hill Clip, so we can have a Hill Clip, Kill Clip, Rangefinder, and Subsistence with that one.
You'd also have Heal and Incandescent, which is the Chad role, by the way.
And I do believe that, yeah, like you were saying, that they kind of give you the best one out of the gate, didn't they? They did with the Macabre, like the first year that we kind of had it, they kind of gave you, I think was it Opening Shots and
Quick Draw, wasn't it?
Opening Shot, Snapshot Sights, I think it was.
That one, yeah.
And then I got one that had Opening Shot and Auto-Loading Holster as well. They do reward you with one that they think would be quite good. So again, you can have Opening Shots and Snapshot Sights as a role, but you can also, again, have a Vault Shot one with Triple Tap and Lone Wolf. You do you. You have fun with it. But I'm going to be looking for a Braytech Werewolf with the Onslaught perk.
What's the new perk where just landing shots triggers Vault Shot without a kill? It just came out this season or this.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But that perk on a
jolting
sniper
feedback.
instead of having.
Yeah, jolting. Was it jolting feedback? Yeah,
Jolting feedback, dealing repeated damage with this weapon inflicts jolt, while amplified jolt applied faster.
There you go. For things like sniper rifles, right? I'm thinking something like jolting feedback with triple tap or 4 times the charm is going to be significantly better than like Vault Shot. Personally, I think. But what do y'all think about that? Like, it's like, let's say you're in a boss DPS phase, right? You got to shoot a red bar, which you hope is going to be there, and then aim towards the boss. So these are valuable seconds you're missing. Tap him until Vault Shot is done, and then you got to re-trigger it, and then start shooting the boss again, right? So you're having to take time to shoot something else. It's not the boss, and then go back to the boss. Whereas just
jolting feedback
on weapon seconds. Yeah, jolting feedback. You just keep tapping the boss, pop, pop, pop. You getting those rounds back in your magazine, and you keep re-triggering jolting shot. You know, so that should absolutely be on these special weapons, or not special weapons, but snipers specifically, instead of Vault Shot, in my opinion.
Kinetic Tremor for Arc. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. I mean, they've got it on the Versus Pyroelectric Propellant, which is the auto rifle from the dungeon. And the guys over at the Massive Breakdowns PvE Players vs. Enemies podcast this week go over the season weapons or the episode weapons. And they did bring this up with the jolting feedback and how much kind of damage you can kind of get. I will link it in the show notes because it is a really good listen of certain weapons that have got this on there that you compare it with, say, like, I think it was like, is it Eddy Current, which then pairs with it. And if you're amplified, it then kind of, you can then trigger it even faster and you can do more damage. And they are specifically PvE. So it's along your thinking, the Respawn. Maybe you should check them out.
The Eddy Current production amplified. I was like, I'm sorry, I refuse to believe that Eddy Current will do anything for me. But yeah, while you're amplified, increases your reload speed, handling, all that good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, they did go over kind of the specifics of getting it to proc and then keeping it up, and why they did a kind of reasoning for why it's better than Vault Shot than. So yeah,
because you don't have to get a kill for it, and you keep reprocking it on high health target, you know. And as far as like, I don't know how easy it is for you Titans, but for hunters, we can just put on a perk and we jump in the air, we hit our air move, and then we're bolted, we're amplified like that, you know. So it's nothing for a hunter to become amplified. And so for us, that kind of combination would be really, really good. But how easy is it for like a Titan to become amplified?
I just turn everything into electricity and I don't worry about it.
Yeah. So we did mention the Eerie engrams, didn't we? Well, I mentioned And I'd like to go back to them because, like we had last year, which was quite a big thing, was that you could have your Eerie engrams drop, and you could take them to Eva and say, Eva, I will give you a couple of these and some candy. Could you give me an exotic? And she would give you an exotic that you possibly didn't have. And it was kind of all the rage. And they're bringing it back this year. So again, you don't have to go to Master Rahul. Make sure you've got your ghost on with your specific perks that you want to kind of drop in specific roles if you look at your ghost. But there's also some extra good news, which I did mention in this coming week. Exotic class items are going to be available for anybody that owns the final shape. So you don't have to do dual destiny if you don't want to now. And some of the community is a bit
hold on.
in the air about this.
That you have to have completed dual destiny and gotten at least one.
No,
incorrectly.
Incorrect.
You didn't read the information from the horse's mouth. We have it here straight from the horse.
Yes.
Inform me.
Remember, kids, if you wait long enough, you don't have to do the thing. Bungie will just hand it to you. I stand by this as they keep proving it correct.
They do. So this year, exotic class items will be available to purchase directly from Eva for 1 Eerie engram and 2,500 candy. You can purchase as many as you like, and if you have an achievement unlocked, these items will drop with your guaranteed exotic achievement perk selected. Plus, this is the bit that Respawn's maybe a bit upset about. Players that own the final shape that haven't completed dual destiny will be able to purchase a Festival of the Lost exotic class item for 2,500 candy and an Eerie engram. But
I think dual destiny was fun. I think you're doing yourself a disservice for not having run it.
But you are still kind of doing yourself a disservice because you will only get the achievement unlocked at the Ghost in the Pale Heart if you run the dual destiny. So if you want to kind of mitigate some of this RNG, then running the dual destiny will give you the achievement, but you will be able to get the exotic class items from Eva if you already haven't had them or if you haven't run the dual destiny. This will unlock the possibility of then buying them from Xurf afterwards and getting them from reward chests in the Pale Heart from the overthrows. So yeah, I think it's a good thing, I suppose. I mean, I've heard a lot of people moaning about it because they were like, no, you've got to stay true. This is in there for a reason. And you can't bully people into doing dual destiny. It's there. If you enjoyed it, you enjoyed it, and it was good fun. If you didn't enjoy looking at clocks and trying to work things out, and you kind of just pushed your way through it just to get that initial one, so that allowed you to do the overthrow chest and then to buy it from Xurf, then I've joined you because that was me. And I've only done it on 2 characters. I still haven't done it on my hunter. So I'm hoping that if I then go to Eva and give her one for my hunter, then I can get it to unlock. And then because I've already got the dual destiny done for my account, then the achievement will be unlocked for my character. I'm betting it probably isn't, but they don't detail it here. I don't know if it's per character for the achievement or if just on your account you've done the dual destiny, the achievement will be unlocked. Because that's the way I'm looking at it, is that I can then go to her and get one for my hunter and then have the possibility of then getting more and more later.
So, regarding the people that you were talking about earlier, people that are complaining, hey, it's there for a reason, go do the thing. The problem is this, right? So, it is a 2-man activity that is not matchmaking, unless it has. This is the last time I've done it. But when I was doing it, it is not matchmade. You have to go find a friend.
Right? Not matchmade. You have to LFG it or
you can LFG it, and you can fire team find it.
That's the word.
So mandating something where you have to go find somebody because it's not matchmade to do, and it being a requirement for something else in the game, I think is not fair. And I think at some point in time, it shouldn't be all the time, like an event like this, where you have the opportunity to get an exotic you otherwise wouldn't be able to get, or another event, for example. I think that's fun because it gives these people that don't have friends like me an opportunity to get things that they can't otherwise get in the game because they don't have friends like me. So this is fun. If it's not match,
well, sometimes I don't have friends, and sometimes I use LFG. So
yeah, I mean LFG is fine, but not a lot of people either have access to LFG or know how to use it or what. You know, I mean, We take advantage because we know LMG, we know the Discord, we know how to make PCs work. Not everybody does,
No,
and not everybody likes the LMG experience because, from what I understand, there are still people that at the end of the run will kick the person that came with them just to be in, and that's not okay.
Yeah. It's not.
So, I mean, I don't blame people for not taking advantage of that kind of thing because it leads to bad experiences and puts a bad taste in your mouth. So, I think it's a good thing. Yes, it's there for a reason. If you want to do it, go do it. Have fun. I enjoyed it. I think you will too. But if you can't do it, I think it's good that there's another avenue to acquire the game.
Speaking of another avenue, we have another avenue for people that didn't get the Super Black Shader in Into the Light by completing all 15 triumphs for that. You now have another chance to do it through Festival of the Lost by completing. You still have to do 15 event triumphs.
Nope, now you've crossed the line.
We've crossed the line with the Super Black Shader. But also, with that,
there's clip of what I said a moment ago about waiting.
Also, you have the shader. I can't remember. I think it's Twilight something. I have written it down, and I can't remember it off the top of my head. It is called Twilight, blah, blah, blah. Twilight Keepsake, which is the lost memento that you can earn through Festival of the Lost, which you can then put on your crafted weapons to then give yourself an all black shader on your weapons or your crafted weapons. That will be available as well, and you can have up to 3 of those. And the challenges that are in the database at the moment, there isn't, from what I can count, there isn't 15 at the moment. There only seems to be 5, but I don't know if that's because each one is weighted differently. But we've got Ghostwriter, which is complete event challenges during the Festival of the Lost, progress resets at the end of the event. One of many, defeat headless ones in a single run of the sectors. And I believe you had to kind of do like 15 in each one or 13 or something. And there's Haunted Moon, Haunted Nessus, Haunted Europa, and Haunted EDZ. Mass Mayhem. Now, I found out that you have to, kind of my own fault. I waited till the last week and I kind of panicked about doing this one last year anyway. Mm-hmm. Wearing a festival mask, complete dungeons, raids, masters or grandmaster nightfalls, or win rounds of trials. And I believe you only have to win 3 rounds of trials. It isn't something too complicated, but again, the progress is, do a grandmaster, you have to do it like 3 times for it to kind of progress. Deathless one, so it's just complete haunted lost sectors without dying, and that's again the Moon, the Nessus one, Europa, and EDZ. And I think there's you have to 10 times without dying. And then Sweet Tooth, you have to collect 30,000 candy whilst wearing your mask and defeating combatants. So those are the ones that are in the database at the moment. They could add more, but complete those and you should get your Super Black Shader and a nice emblem as well. Spectral Carapace emblem, which is purple and spooky. And that's going to be available if you complete all 15 as well.
I do love spooky emblem.
But how do we feel about them starting it 2 days before Halloween? Do we really care? Do we think that this is because they'd initially, before the community kicked up a fuss about Echoes, that when they planned to do Revenant, they thought 3 weeks of Revenant, people will be doing the story for 3 weeks. Then we'll do 3 weeks of Fest of the Lost, which would be week 4, which is next week coming up. And then we'll roll into kind of Iron Banner and we'll do other events and Act 2 will kind of then roll on for 6 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever it is. Do we think that that's how they've had it planned out, which is why it's so late?
You need to do like all the
care about Halloween?
The entire month of October should be Halloween month, right? Oops, sorry.
How many countries where there are or Destiny is care about Halloween? Is it is it just like a US, North America based thing, or
no? We celebrate, well, sort of celebrate it over here, but I think the thing is you guys go way over the top, like Halloween and Christmas with all your decorations and things. But I think the thing is that many games over the years have kind of introduced this kind of Halloween or spooky event. I mean, Fortnite have been doing it for years. We've got a new crossover which also incorporates the Destiny IP that has a Halloween event that's also starting on the 29th as well. Call of Duty, they do like special zombies things. It's just been ingrained in games that are kind of, this is one of those seasonal events. We don't have a Thanksgiving event. We have like a spooky event. We have a Christmas event, even though it's not really a Christmas event. It's called the Dawning in Destiny, and it's just kind of Easter. What do we get at Easter? We get the solstice.
The spring solstice event. Yeah. And I guess it does fit nicely with the Day of the Dead, which I can't remember what the.
Oh yes, the Mexican Day of the Dead. Yeah.
Yeah, and there are Central American Day of the Dead, other holidays around around sort of the Halloween spooky season. That's what I was wondering. It's like, do other people look at this and go, "What's a Halloween? Why are we running around collecting candy? This makes no sense." I have no other than seeing it in American TV shows or movies. I don't care about this or know what this is. Yeah, I mean, start it whenever you want to start it. Who cares?
Well,
it's
Halloween
just
like a religious thing? I don't think it's an American thing. Halloween is based on All Hallows Eve.
It's not religious. It's not religious.
It is though. It's a pagan ritual based on All Hallows Eve, and I don't think that's strictly American. That's multinational, isn't it?
No. I think you guys have turned it into the candy loving thing that it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure candy played a big role in All Hallows Eve, sadly.
So, Peroty, do you want to show your spooky spirits and do what we did last year and have a pumpkin carving competition?
No. No.
Okay.
I can't remember the last time I carved a pumpkin, but I'm sure somebody will want to. Somebody will want to take their sweet pumpkin carving skills, maybe make a ghost carving, a Shax-a-lantern, a witchy witness. Well, they're having another contest. Submit your best designs using hashtag FOTL2024, Festival of the Lost 2024. You'll have 1 week to carve up your most ghoulish creation. They'll pick their favorites and put them in next week's TWAB. While we can't give out candy like Eva, how about an emblem instead? For our pumpkin carving entries, you'll earn the Art of the Week emblem. So if you're like, hey, I can't draw or I can't paint, but I can carve, this is your moment to shine. We're also getting some Festival of the Lost fashion. Show us your guardian decked out in their best spooky season attire by using the hashtag, you guessed it, FOTL Fashion 2024. They'll also share their best ones next week, and you'll earn the fashion emblem, which is really the only emblem I want out of this. And I've never actually submitted to this because I always intend to, and then never remember. So maybe this will be the year. Maybe I'll figure out some good fashion and say, listen, this is my shot.
Yeah.
I was going to say, aren't you just giant pink shoulder pads, Peroty? Isn't that your spiel? Or are you a samurai pink titan now? What's your spiel nowadays?
At the moment, creepy witch doctor, and desperately trying to find a set of titan armor with enough fabric on it to put on my cozy flannel like the warlock is wearing. The warlock has been wearing pajamas for like a year now because all of those ridiculous flannel shaders look incredible on the warlock cloaks. The Titans have no fabric, so I have like a fancy, butt cape, and then very little else that can be actually flannel. It looks like I tried to put on a shirt and just ripped it out like Hulk.
Yeah. So your witch doctor thing, are you flannel or are you pink?
A little both.
You're pink flannel.
Don't live in a land of war. I don't remember what shader I have on at the moment. I was definitely playing dress up with blue and Pan the other day because we were trying to coordinate our witch doctor outfit to dance at the tower with people, which is the true Destiny endgame.
It is. So Hurricane Relief, thanks to the amazing generosity, the Bungie Foundation Hurricane Relief campaign is going strong, with more than 300k already raised to support our incredible humanitarian partners, Team Rubicon and Direct Relief. And you still have up until the 31st of October to donate if you want to, and £25 donation will help support our neighbours in the southeast US. And you'll get the Through the Storm emblem if you kind of donate. And in addition, you can have a t-shirt if you want to kind of do that. There's the Through the Storms t-shirt, and I believe you will have to go to the Hurricane Relief link in the TWAB, and that will take you to the Bungie Foundation, and it'd be $30 for that t-shirt. But that, all proceeds will go towards the whatchamacallit, the Fighting the Hurricane. Or not Fighting the Hurricane.
Yeah, Bungie Foundation, Team Rubicon, Direct Relief.
Yeah.
Through all their efforts. Bungie, I was going to donate to the Hurricane Relief anyway. Like that was just going to happen no matter what. The emblem is even cool, which I appreciate. But if you throw a shirt in front of me, I don't know who's doing the artwork for these shirts, but keep it up. Because I saw this shirt, I'm like, yes, please. I would like to have this.
That's not too bad. I heard a couple of people go, "Oh, cup of tea," but that's not too bad.
Oh, yeah. I mean, not going to be everyone's thing. The Australian relief one was still the greatest with the kangaroo and the spaceship. That I get random compliments from people when I wear that in public. They're like, "What is that from? Why is there a spaceship and a kangaroo?" I'm like, because obviously,
yeah.
But I've just greatly appreciated their whoever's doing the shirt designs. Keep it up, love them.
And we've already spoken about the Grandmaster Nightfall starting on the 29th.
Spooky Nightfalls. So why is Saint 14 and Shaxx in this other game?
Because
what's happening with this?
This is For Honor. So For Honor have done a crossover collab with Destiny, and you can play as Shaxx and Saint 14. And I saw a really cool kind of animation it must have been on TikTok, where somebody had to kill. I think it was Shaxx. Saint 14 was killing Shaxx, and he kind of drops to his knees. Saint 14 kind of dances around him and then just slices his head off. And I'm like, that's amazing. But they've got a in-game Halloween event that I believe starts on the 29th as well. And this one starts on the October 24th to November 14th. And you can play against the Scorn. They've put the Scorn in the in their Halloween event because I suppose they are spooky and creepy. We don't have the Scorn in our Halloween event. We have headless ones. If only somebody had thought about that.
I didn't even notice that the Scorn are in the background of that picture.
There's a cool trailer as well. I watched the trailer this week. I'll link that in the show notes and see the action. Because initially it starts off with you're kind of playing the For Honor people, and then they transform into Shaxx and Saint 14, and then one of them's got a flaming sword, one of them's got a kind of bow and arrow, and it's just like, I was like, why can't we have this in our game? Why am I going to play their game to get this?
Because Ubisoft needs the help. I also did notice a big giant Scorn in the background. I'm just now noticing of this picture. Apparently, I saw the Titan Brethren there, and just didn't look at any other pictures.
Yeah, he's dual axe wielding Scorn there as a boss. So yeah, they've got that going on over there, and
there you go.
And I'm glad you're back to give us your player support report this week.
Well, as always, we have our player support report again. No witty banter. I'm a little disappointed.
No witty banter.
Bring back the witty banter. We'll have to come up with our own, and we know that doesn't go well. So, yeah. We do have okay, good. They did put the ignition boss damage update in here. Basically, your first ignition does damage, your next ignition does less damage. We've already talked about that. Hopefully, they'll patch that in mid-November is when they're planning to. The Salvation's Edge Memento. After a thorough investigation, we've identified the issue preventing players from receiving the Salvation's Edge Raid Memento. While we do not have a projected date for a fix, we are working towards a solution. So it sounds like they know why it's being caused. Now they just have to fix it and get it into the game. So if you haven't been getting your mementos, that's why. Ooh, now we have high priority known issues. Not just any known issues. These are the high priority known issues. Bungie names cannot be changed. We hope to fix this as quickly as possible. Couldn't have laid off your name guy, apparently. The Helm Landing Zone takes players to the Market District in the Last City, where you should do your shopping. The loadout and mod screens and the character screen are very difficult to access. You must put your cursor over a weapon or armor piece, and then you can access them. Or just move your mouse all over to the side or cursor to the side and press the little button that gets you over there. Yes, very irritating. The menu and subscreens used to change pages are no longer working from the D-pad or the arrow keys. So again, you have to move your little cursor all into the button and press it. And then it works, but that's very silly and that should not be the case. The Fieldwork banner doesn't tell players to talk to Ido to access Act 1 Fieldwork area, and it cannot be dismissed until that screen is accessed. Good, excellent. The director is no longer able to be accessed from inside the character screen. So if you're looking at your character and want to go somewhere, no, you can't. The health bar colors of major enemies have been altered, making it hard to distinguish between them and the minor enemies' health bar colors, which Respawn is thrilled about.
He did mention that last week. And the director no longer being accessed from inside the character screen. Is that like on an Xbox controller where you push your start and your select button? That doesn't seem to work now. You just have to hold down like the select button, I believe it. You know, the two little screen picture. You hold that down and then you can select to go to look in your the director. But yeah, if you used to be able to just push them simultaneously and it would take you there, but they don't seem to be able to do that anymore. Or at the moment. Strange.
Excellent. If the Rogue Network quest is abandoned, it cannot be reacquired. So you're just stuck. Don't abandon any quests. Don't do it. Sometimes the final boss in the Vespers host doesn't spawn and players are forced to wipe for the encounter to start. So don't do any flawless runs in Vespers host because they may flaw it by default. Also, a soft lock can occur in the Vespers host when not all servitors reform within the boss after DPS ends, and the remaining servitors are inconsistent between players. And finally, we're investigating reports of the tonic brewing guide not updating when creating tonics. Can we talk about that servitor boss? Because I understand that I don't believe myself to be colorblind, but I'm pretty sure I am blue-purple colorblind in this game. Because I have looked at those servitors.
Yeah.
And because I played this with blue and pen, and they're able to see different colors. And I'm staring at these and I'm going, maybe that one's a little bit different. But I am having a very hard time telling the difference between the blue servitor and the two blue ones and the purple ones.
Well, what you're saying to me is basically you're not the guy to do the call-outs. You're the guy that goes and does something else.
Correct. I can murder anything. I can stay alive. I do great at all of that. Clear all the shinks trying to kill us. Great. But trying to figure out those call-outs? No.
Okay. Well, we figured out. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I don't know if I'm just been blue purple colorblind this whole time, or if Bungie just needs to do a better job highlighting them. I find that very, very difficult to see the difference between the two.
Well, I think we've established they fiddled with the colours at some point, and they've done something, and they've probably had a knock-on effect. Is what basically has happened. But you've got further than me. I mean, I've got as far as planting the first flag, and trying to solo it myself because nobody else was on, and I was like, I'll give it a go.
Yeah, so, I got through a bunch of it. I think maybe got toward the. I don't know. I don't remember where we ended up.
Towards the boss, somewhere near the boss.
Toward the boss. We went through the first batch of maybe it'll kill me instantly, maybe it won't lightning, and then
actually
haven't been in the final room with all the lightning because I saw more clips of that, and I was like, oh yeah, no, I haven't been there yet.
Tell a lie. Exciting. I did get to the final boss. I joined an LFG on Tuesday before reset, and I thought I want to try and do it before reset so that I've done at least once before, and then I can play it again this week. And I joined a group that was on Fireteam Finder. It said fresh run. Joined the group. Spoke to the guy. Yeah, we do fresh run. Another guy joins, and then he changes. He goes, well, I've got a final boss checkpoint. Do you want to go and do the final boss? I'll explain stuff to you. We can go and do that rather than the fresh run. And me and the other guy were like, well, yeah, if you want, we'll do that, and learn the boss and figure out the rest of the stuff if we want to kind of go back and do the other bit. And he's like, okay, cool. Takes us in. He's explaining everything to us. I'm like, right, okay, go grab that, do this, do that. Drop down, run away from these people that kind of giving you radiation. I'm like, oh my god, this is like terrifying. And we kept dying over and over again as he's trying to explain it. And there's these kind of copies of the boss, and they will, constantly run at you. There'll be servitors that will be kind of barrier champions. You have to kind of deal with them. We played it for about 45 minutes on this last bit, and he just got really frustrated. He's like, oh, it's not going to happen for me before reset. He said, but thanks for helping. He said, just to let you know, though, this is the mastered version. So you have a master checkpoint if you want to kind of continue with other people.
So he took you went from what you thought was a fresh run of normal to a master boss room.
Yep.
Without knowing that's what you were doing.
Yep. I mean, I saw down the side that there were burns and there were the barriers, But because I hadn't played it before, I didn't know that they weren't in the normal version. It was just kind of I
Right.
jumped into LFG, looked for a fresh version or normal, which is what I was sold. Taken into this thing, and I was thinking, God, I mean, I had my sword build, and I was kind of rezzing them, and I was like,
and you wonder why people don't want to go into LFG sometimes.
Yeah. So the lightning strikes to you that
no, I didn't even get to didn't even get to a lightning strike. I was in that first initial room and dropping down and trying to deal with
the multiple radiation dudes.
Yep. Couldn't escape. They couldn't escape them. Even with me blocking with my sword, I managed to escape them several times and hide out in one of the boss rooms either side. But I couldn't keep going back and rezzing them. So this one guy was trying to do all the different kind of operator, scanner, and suppressor, whatever else it is.
Them over because you have to go to a left or right side depending on.
Oh no, I was on the right. Mechanic. I was on the correct side because the guy was saying I'm on the correct side, and I kept dealing with the barrier champion, and he kept going rezzing the other guy and trying to get around. But yeah, it was just kind of chaos, and everything was hitting as hard as, and I just because I wasn't. Yeah, I mean, but I wasn't prepared for that. I swapped to my sword build because I was like, this is hitting harder than what I thought it was going to be. But if I think,
whenever I'm in that room, I try to make it easy on everybody because there's a hunter build with the butterflies and our exotic.
You went over that last week, yeah.
Right. Well, not only does it create a lot of AoE damage and things like that, not only does it give a lot of overkills, but the big benefit, it blinds a lot of enemies all at once. So you don't have a ton of people shooting you all at once. And so, because I'm throwing butterflies everywhere and everybody's blinded, it gives a lot of reprieve in these kinds of rooms where you're just, because it's a small room. For those of you that haven't been, it's a tiny room with a lot of ads in it. And there's 2 or 3 guys with big radiation bubbles around them that if they get close to you, you get radiation stacks. And if you get 10 stacks, you die. So you ain't got a lot of room. Everything's constantly.
And when they double up on you, it goes even faster. And you're like, please get away from me. Both of you, please go away.
Unwanted touching.
Yeah.
So if you can blind them, it makes the experience a lot easier. So I was the blinding guy, I was the AoE guy, and the guys that are doing the mechanics, it made the job easier for them because they can focus on the mechanics instead of getting shot at and stuff like that. So keep in mind, blinding, even if blinding doesn't do a lot of damage, mechanically speaking, it makes everything easier. Yeah.
And the other thing that I did 2 other things this week. I did a day of stream, and I thought I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to go through my 7 comp games to see if I can get placed again, because I'd only just done them at the end of last episode, literally about 3 weeks ago, and I got placed in gold, the whatever lowest gold tier that you can kind of get into, and I was like, oh cool, I can have access to artifice armor, which is what I kind of wanted. Then it got reset with this episode, so I thought I'll do my 7 placements. I got placed in silver 2. I'm like, there's a difference of like 3 weeks. My skill is still the same. What has happened?
You've had a major regression, unfortunately, sir.
And do you think I could get back to gold? No, I could not. I got up to, it went from silver 2 up to silver 1. I was like, oh, gold. And then it was like, I then got knocked down by I lost 2 games in a row. So it literally takes 100 points away from you each time. And I'm back down to halfway of silver 2. And then I won a couple of games and it took me back into silver 1. It was like that for before I was streaming and whilst I was streaming. I was like up and down, up and down, up and down. I was like, oh dear, I'm never going to get there. And then the second day, I took Phoenix on and we did a co-stream. And I was just kind of seeing what he has access to as a free-to-play Destiny player. And when he kind of initially loaded up, admittedly, he has played the game before, but it took him straight into doing the new episode Revenant opening mission, and directed him to go and do potion mixing, but he couldn't kind of access the potions. And then it let him go into Onslaught. But then as soon as I joined him, he then couldn't go and play Onslaught. And I think that's because he only gets the initial try of it to see if he likes it, kind of thing. And I think that's the right thing. Okay. I think that's what happens with every kind of episode or season. You go into kind of that initial bit, go, would you like it? Do you want to purchase it, kind of thing? And then he's got loads of things that are available that he can kind of go and do. So he can kind of do, I think, the opening mission of Witch Queen. He can do the opening mission of Lightfall. Beyond Light, I think he's already kind of done that one. So he has access to Europa. So we could kind of go and do a few things. We could do the Nightfall, but like kind of trying to explain to him what barrier champions were and why he needed certain weapons was quite funny. And then what else was there? There was, I think, then we did Onslaught, and I found that the Onslaught, the original OG Onslaught, is much harder than this new version of Onslaught. It's like, I don't know what it is. I think because the enemies are different, that there's some of them are a lot harder to deal with, especially in certain maps. And I think we got to wave 34 before we kind of wiped, and I was quite upset about that because I thought,
wait, hold on, which Onslaught are you talking about? The one that you have to access from the new area?
One.
No, the old OG one that's in the Vanguard playlist. I still have not done 50 waves of that. I've done the new one, 50 waves, but I haven't done the old one, which was quite funny. And then what else did we do? Oh, we then went and played PvP because he wanted to play PvP. And his controls, he showed me his controls. It's like the movement on it is like I couldn't shoot anybody, and he's going, bro. He was calling me his bro. What are you doing? He said, stop zooming in. I'm like, but that's how I shoot the guns. I zoom into people's heads and I shoot them in the head. He's like, no, just no scope them. I'm like, what is this? And he was able to turn. He's got, he said it's my Fortnite settings. He said I can flip round. I can do this. He said this is. I think he had it on the highest setting for the fastest settings that he could do on a controller, and he was like complaining that it was still too slow for him what he can do in Fortnite. I think it took him a little bit to kind of get used to the PvP in Destiny. I mean, it's nothing really like Fortnite. It's very different.
Yeah, very different pace. Very different. Yeah.
But what made me laugh is that he went back in his collections because he was trying to level up, and we got him from 1900 up to 1950, I believe it was. So we jumped up 50 levels to the kind of the soft cap from just playing a few things. And he pulled out the Anti-Oak D and he used that in Crucible, and he's going, this gun is amazing. I mean, it was the OG kind of one, like the set in stone perks, couldn't really do anything else apart from kind of, I think it was kill clip and like a barrel perk and something else. But he was wrecking shop with it, and it was quite funny. This old gun that he kind of pulled out and he found great fun with. But yeah, it's just like, and trying to take him through like the initial campaign, because it dropped him into Revenant. I then had to take him back to kind of picking up. I had to then go to the tower with him, show him where the terminal was next to the postmaster, to go and pick up the old New Light kind of mission to then get going with Shorhan and go through all of that. And even going through that, he came out in the Cosmodrome at the end of the mission, and literally the flag just a couple of steps away from Shorhan is, do you want to skip the kind of this opening of the game and just go straight to the tower? And he's like, yeah, I want to do that. I was like, no, if you do that, you'll miss out on learning all the different things and picking up all the kind of things that you kind of need. So don't skip that, because I know why it's in the game. If you've got like a second and third character, you might not necessarily need to do that. But I said, even for kind of leveling your character and getting new weapons to drop, because you're getting some of the new kind of seasonal weapons and the weapons that are available for now to drop. So it's worth you kind of going off and doing. But he wasn't happy about it.
But that's what he has you for.
Yeah. Yeah, we did a co-stream, and after a while I've got it sorted. It was like I was trying to figure it out for ages, because we hadn't done one since we'd done that raid stream, and it was
done the Volta class run.
Yeah, and I think I'd set that up completely different to how I kind of needed to do it now, but I've now got it worked out so that if we do another co-stream, that we can have the two screens on the two times. So that was there this week. That's what we did this week and played. But yeah, I missed out on kind of hooking up with anybody else. I think Blue's been away. Noble's been off with family being sick, so it's just like a bit of solo playing and grabbing Phoenix to play.
Yeah. I saw you and Phoenix were on, so I was going to ask you, if you hadn't brought up what you had gotten up to and what you were doing. Yeah, so that just again reinforces to me that's who I'm playing. against in these PvP matches, going, I don't have these reflexes. I don't have I'm not spinning no-sco 360ing anything unless it's by sheer luck.
Yeah.
I mean, once again, the AR PvP league, that's where I need to be. Put me in the old folks PvP home. Let me just sit there and plink away at people, and we'll all be good. You all go play your competitive PvP silliness.
Yeah, there's going to be a new playlist mode called AAR PvP, where all of your controls are set to sensitivity 5 by default. All the frame rates are set to 30 frames a second by default. Can't change it. And that's how you play. Everybody's back to old school Xbox, and that's the playlist. That's the mode right there.
All going to be 16-bit graphics. It's going to be big blocky characters coming at you. It'll be fine. It'll be great. Good times, good times. We also have art movies of the week, like an entire collection of Slipknot being redone in Destiny, which is phenomenal. If you haven't looked at the fashion rendition to Slipknot for their I think it was their first album, where all of them are on the cover, they did a pretty good job reproducing most of those masks, or as close to it, pig into chicken and whatnot. But a pretty good rendition of Slipknot and Destiny, along with your fashion guides.
And since we got all this new fashion coming out, Spider Sides, I guarantee, has got some new stuff on his site. So check him out as far as any and all fashion needs that you may come across, or want, I should say.
It's a need.
Yeah, especially for people like Peroty.
I've got one.
Yeah, what was it? Who posted it? Was it you that had that posted a picture of a Titan? That you can make a Titan look like Snow White, was it? In the game of Destiny right now, you can make a Titan look like Snow White. And I was like, if I see Snow White coming up to me and one-shotting me in the Crucible, I'm uninstalling. That's it. Like, I understand, like, the Grim Reaper or some of these more threatening, things coming to one-shot you, fine, whatever. But if a Disney princess one-shot melees me, we're done. We're so done. We're so dumb.
So shall we tell the people about what they fixed this week, which I think is about the only thing left, and whatever videos Night Demons watched. Anything? Yeah, they fixed a number of things. We had update 8.102. They fixed. Let's see. They fixed. Remember at the end of the Excision mission, where your beautiful view of the Traveler was not your beautiful view of the Traveler. Well, they've apparently fixed that now. The correct skybox will now be shown during the final shape ending cinematic.
Good.
The Act 1 progress. Fix an issue where the Act 1 progression would be blocked if the player abandoned the prologue quest. Fix an issue where the tonic capsule would soft lock the game when accessed through the quest menu. Fix the issue where players were getting locked out of creating tonics if the brewing guide went to the postmaster. Your major fieldwork did not play their corresponding voiceover. And the altering tutorials could not be dismissed during fieldwork missions. No, they could not. So yeah, those are all fixed. Salvation, unfortunately... not unfortunately. Fortunately, fixed an issue where the first player completing the 50 waves of Onslaught, only the first player opening the extra chest would receive the reward. Now, everybody gets the reward.
I still haven't seen that. And I even waited.
And you're not going to.
Stood back to make sure that somebody else got the loot first, and I never came across that. Because you had me feeling bad. It's like, was I the guy that was getting the loot the whole time? I hope not. I really hope not.
Yeah, it's not your fault if it was. In Vesper's Host, they fixed an issue where the master difficulty was not rewarding artifice armor, and where players could duplicate the nuclear codes. Nuclear cores. Yeah, I had a feeling that fix was coming for this one, but disappointing.
There's a new cheese.
Oh, always.
So apparently, there are a couple of spots on that kind of first initial bit that you can kind of... One's up on the right-hand corner, you can kind of get through the map, and one of them is near the actual start part of it, where you kind of initiate the opening of the station, that you can kind of drop down in this hole and kind of go under the map, as long as you can get to the kind of the next encounter, where the next encounter is, you have to dunk. I think it's about 4 or 5 balls in chess, whilst kind of running away from the giant servitor boss. If you dunk 3 balls in 3 different chests, not all. You don't have to do the whole that part of that second encounter. Just 3 balls. It counts for the first encounter and will give you the rewards for the first encounter. You don't even need to go back to the first encounter to collect them because it will just go to your postmaster if you go to orbit. And there is a video from Cheese Forever for that.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
We'll just skip that part of it. And no one needs to play the first encounter. It's fine. Let's see. We've got some armor fixes where your Sanguine Alchemy, and they added. I was like, what's an aid buff? Added a debuff icon so players can identify when they have been marked by an enemy. That seems useful. For your Peacekeepers, fixing the issue where the SMGs could maintain their damage buff indefinitely when swapping between weapons. That's disappointing. For weapons, your Heavy Burst hand cannons, fixing the issue where they were dealing slightly reduced precision damage. Your Revision 0, fix the issue where it would lock into sniper mode while using the Heavy Burst origin trait. That must have been exciting for people. Last Word got some love, where they fixed an issue of it doing too much damage against players. Increased damage versus combatants has not been readjusted. Enjoy the PvE buff and yeehaw responsibly. And the weapon has been re-enabled in PvP and Gambit. For your
Are
emblems,
they doing it? Are they giving a Wild West weekend? Is that what you just said?
PvE buff is still there.
Oh,
PvP has been put back to normal. So no. You can only yeehaw responsibly against combatants. Fixed an issue where the Bungie Foundation through the Storm emblem was missing its title in the collection screen. Fixed an issue where the Retinal Burn artifact perk has the wrong name assigned to it on the artifact screen. And your French translation of the Precision Instrument perk has been properly French translated. And the text will become truncated in some languages in the seasonal content overview and offer screen. Because who needs to read what you're buying? That's silliness. Have they done anything with the Wicked implement not working against barrier champions?
Not yet, not that they've said.
I mean, again,
the Wicked implement is not broken. I keep telling you, it's not broken. This is by design.
It is
because it already slows. It's already affecting unstops and not barriers. The other one, unstop, barrier, and overload. It already affects overloads and unstops. They're not going to give you all 3. They learned that lesson from last season with the solar pew pew boom scout.
I think that's the problem, is that the other exotics are able to function without having an issue, whereas this doesn't function.
I know that one wasn't supposed to do it either, and Bungie overlooked that. And I think because they overlooked that, they're not going to overlook it again. I understand it should work. I am also upset that it's not working, but it's not broken. It is functioning as intended, and I don't think they're going to address it.
Well, then, I bought it in the kiosk, and now I can just go sit in my vault and sit there forever and rot like the rest of the weapons.
No, just dismantle it. You don't need it. You can go and get it when it works with something.
I've got plenty of room in the vault. It can sit there and just have a vault space for now.
It still works for 2 types of champions, guys.
But see the problem is it is not, as I'm looking for this weapon, it is not the Hung Jury SR4 with Firefly and Kinetic Tremors on it. See, that's the problem. It's not that gun.
Yeah, so, but that gun only affects barriers. So you can have that gun that does barriers.
That's all it needs to do.
What?
I'm not looking for the one true weapon to fix all my problems. I'm saying I have 3 problems to solve, and I have 3 ways to solve them. This gun is way too much fun, and it solves my barrier problem very nicely.
And what's your role? Kinetic Tremors and what?
Firefly.
That's not bad. The best one I could get was Kinetic Tremors and Rapid Hit. I wanted to rewind Kinetic Tremors, but I was not lucky enough to get it.
I just want to make people explode. That's it. That's good.
It's good goals.
And I slapped the synergy on it, so I get the orbs of power with the kinetic, for getting the kills with the kinetic tremors. It's great fun. I sit back here.
The new perks you get,
shoot you, and we're done.
By the way, new perks, the new mods y'all get.
Yeah, they're delicious.
They are delicious, and unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know how you want to look at it. You can only use those on weapons that have been upgraded or master work.
Yeah,
no,
you have to enhance them.
Enhanced. Sorry.
Yeah.
on enhanced weapons.
I do appreciate that they at least show you, hey, you could have this, but you must enhance this weapon first.
Mhm.
Versus being like, I don't know how to get these, and then, oh, hey, enhance them, and now they're there. Yeah, I've been enhancing things just to put on the new perks, because I have new perks to play with, and they're fun.
And they're pretty good. Yeah, they're pretty good.
Night Demon, what videos should we be watching? What builds do people put out? What cheeses are there? What should the people be watching on the YouTube to enjoy their Destiny experience even more?
Well, as I said, I mean, there are a couple of cheeses from Cheese Forever, the new dungeon, which I'll include in show notes, because, again, I don't know whether they will be relevant by the time that kind of next week comes around. But if they're there, they're there. So you can check those out. So there's an infinite damage phase made easier for the second boss. And then there's the kind of the one where I was saying, the fast farm after the patch for Solo Flawless as well, for the Artifice Armor. Also this week, which I kind of had a little chuckle to myself, we heard about Marathon about a year and a half ago, I think it was, when they decided they were going to split the TWABs and go, we're going to do this over here and this over here, and Marathon's coming and Marathon's coming.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard more about Destiny Rising in the last 2 weeks than we've heard about Marathon. There's been the trailer came out, then we had the mini Vidoc trailer that went along with it. Now this week, which I'll put in the show notes, they go over Haven, which is one of the new locations, so you can explore Haven. It's under a minute, so
and this is Marathon, right?
No, this is for Destiny Rising.
Oh,
this is what I'm saying. We're getting more information about Destiny Rising than we are about Marathon, which tickled me. So I thought I'd have to include that.
When is Marathon coming out? It's still got another year, right? They tacked on another year.
Who knows?
2025-ish is the last thing I've heard.
2025-ish. Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, they've done at least 2 different playtests where they invited people from the community that we've heard about via. Hey, so and so has been invited. No details about it, but just this is an event that's happened. So the first one, apparently not going well because people weren't pleased, and this more recent one, who knows? Because the first rule about Marathon is we don't talk about it.
Definitely.
So if you guys have so Marathon, hypothetically, which is a Bungie IP, right, comes out at the same time as what's the other one called? Destiny Rising, which is Bungie IP, but made by different devs. Okay,
made by NetEase. Mm-hmm.
They come out at the same time. Which do you play? You get one choice.
Destiny.
Well, I have zero interest in Marathon at all, so I'm going to play Destiny Rising. Yeah, I mean, an extraction shooter. I have no interest. I mean, if it's like free on Game Pass, and there's like a casual mode that's almost like, hey, let's go have let's screw around a Marathon weekend or something for free. Great, but I have zero interest in extraction shooters. So,
you would play a mobile game made by another company.
Have you been here before? Do you understand the premise of a Destiny podcast that you have been involved with for the last 6 years?
I'm not talking about the podcast. I'm not talking about the podcast. I'm talking about
you know that we've been obsessed with Destiny.
And have absolutely zero desire to play an extraction shooter. That's basically like saying, do you want to do Long Division or eat this delicious pizza? I mean, come on, there's no contest here.
Long Division, obviously.
I'm kind of a nerd, so Long Division isn't a bad thing, but
no math.
The reason I say that is because it's not really Destiny. It's just a Destiny IP made by somebody else. Whereas Marathon is Bungie, and then one's a mobile, one's a console, right? So you got to factor that in too.
But it's a game type I do not want to play and do not care about. You could do the same thing with Destiny Rising, or I don't know, many other types of games. But it's like, oh, the new Call of Duty is out. Yeah, no, I'm not going anywhere near that with a 20-foot pole either. I don't care what it is or where it is. It's not a type of game I'm going to enjoy playing. I am not a Twitch PvP shooter. I'm not going to Fortnite and going to win matches. This is not somewhere I'm going to step anywhere near. Yeah, exactly. Like I am not my 12-year-old nephew out here playing Fortnite, zipping around the map like a child on speed. Like this is like going into marathon sounds like nothing but pain. It's like you saying, "Hey, you guys want to go play Trials all weekend? Let's go play just Trials, a game that's only Trials but harder, because this is a particular brand of Trials where either you're enjoying playing this particular kind of Trials or you don't, and I'm playing it with all the people who just want to be in there just playing that kind of Trials." Yet no, and in no world does that sound like a good time.
Okay, so how would you play it? Would you play it on your phone?
Word.
Or would you download BlueStacks on a computer and play it
we
on
would play it on our phone.
I would play it on the phone and try it out. I mean, I'm not saying I would play it a lot. I'm not saying this is going to be my next addiction. I would play it out of curiosity. If it's something I could play casually, yeah, I'd pick it up like I do Pokemon Go. I'd pick it up, play it for a while, and set it back down again. Like this is not...
He squirreled us. He squirreled us into this.
Yeah, always.
No, he's gone.
This is Destiny content. What do you mean squirrels?
Still, you squirreled us over there. We were talking about videos, and you squirreled us.
Because you brought up whatever. This is Destiny related. It's not like I started talking about
snake hunting,
bisons and bears and volcanoes.
Yeah. So carrying on with the videos, we have Esoteric's complete Vespers host secret guide. So all messages, collectibles, and puzzles. And then we have the Destiny 2's new DPS King is almost impossible to get from Eerie, and he goes over the damage for the versus whatever it is, the grenade launcher. I've forgotten the name of it now, but you know what I'm talking about. He goes over the damage for that. And the Gun of Salvation, which has been up for kind of farming last week, and I mean, you can still get your red borders. Legola Flash has the crafted Zealot's reward is a 20-meter fusion rifle, and shows you in PvP how good it kind of maps people. So you need that one. You need to go and craft it. But first you need your red borders. So you need to play Guard of Salvation to get your red borders. And then you can go and craft it. Okay. So sorted. And that's my videos for this week.
Excellent. My videos were basically like I watched some cheese and I watched Fallout's video on Xurf. That's it. Have you guys bought your Xurf board? Is it worth the purchase? Are you happy with your Xurf board?
Immediately, and yes. And it takes shaders oh so well.
I bought it at the last minute on Tuesday before the reset because I didn't have any coins, and I then realised that I could go and grab some coins from people that had been hoarding the coins for me or holding the coins for me for things that I'd done. Because there was a guy on the Pale Heart that went, "Do you want some coins?" And I was like, "Yeah, give me some coins." And then where I'd played so much PvP, they went, "Have all these coins," and I was like, "I'll have all these coins." And because I'd done all this other stuff, they said, "Have some more coins." And then I went to my season pass and they went, "Look, there's some more coins." And did you know that you can't pull them out of your season pass if you're kind of won over? So you have to go to Xurf, spend a couple of coins to then get, they don't go to your postmaster. It's not like we'll give you 10 there and 3 go to your postmaster. No, you have to have the space. I'm like, oh my God. So I had to do that.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because it's made out of that like smoky kind of not Trials of the Nine, smoky 9 type of material that a lot of their armor and whatnot is made out of. But it's not metal, and it doesn't take shaders like metal does. It takes shaders in a weird kind of different, unique way. Not quite cloth, not quite metal. So when you put shaders on this thing, it takes shaders really well. Like the ultra black is black, not like metal kind of black metal that's been in the sun for too
ultra
long.
Black
kind of
or super black.
Yeah, it's actually black,
Black.
So if for no other reason than how it takes shaders, I think you should get it because it's better than the ones that we have now, as far as color wise go. Plus, I mean, it just looks cool on its own. So yes, get it. Get it.
To go along with that, I have been thinking about this, that there's so many really cool speeders that you can kind of get in the game, and they've kind of been nullified by these like surfboards that we can kind of now ride around on.
Don't you talk about my micro mini like that?
No, but I'd rather have the surfboard because you can do the little thing to kind of get over certain areas that kind of you can fly over certain areas and just bypass that whole I've got to go round there with my Sparrow. It's like it's a no-brainer now. That's it.
And Peroty, just wait. You know how some people ride those obnoxiously small skateboards that's big enough for exactly 1 foot?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to come out with an obnoxiously small, whatever the surfboard's called, and you're going to want that more than anything you've ever wanted in your life. And your little micro mini, you're going to be at micro what? Exactly. Boom. You're going to be on board. Literally.
Can I look more ridiculous riding that than the Micro Mini? In which case, then yeah, I'm sold.
Have you tried putting 2 feet on a board that's big enough for 1 foot?
I haven't put any feet on any boards because I would break my spine immediately.
Well, there you go. There's your answer.
Well, unless you guys have any more to add to the show this week, I think that could be it.
Astroprops does have a video that you didn't mention, and he does all the before and after changes for all the exotics that have.
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah.
It's a very good side by side of what they used to do versus what they do now. The goods, the bads, and the uglies. So if you're wondering exactly how your favorite exotic has been changed, or an exotic that you've never used before, like the Icefall Mantle that a lot of people didn't use because it would like slow you down or whatever. Well, now the slowing feature is gone, so a lot of Titans are using it when they didn't used to before. So take a look at it, because some of these exotics have been changed in ways that you probably didn't even know about, that aren't even on the description of the exotics. So there you go.
The more you know. I also know that I love each and every one of our patrons. All of them. Now, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to read these names because I can't roll the R's like Night Demon can.
Renard Gallant.
There you go. But we do appreciate Zep Orbit and K4, the T-Rex King, Scarlet Cam, Melamali, Dedicated Wham 64, Mr. Renard Gallant, of course. Golden God 1562, We Noble, Basically Salt, Fire Squad 1688, Coderson 105, Dimwee, Gravy Jeff, and PB Pipe. We appreciate all of our lovely, wonderful patrons, as they appreciate us. As we sit here as the last remaining Destiny podcast, we will be standing until the servers go down, and then we're going to still be here, because we will find more Destiny things to talk about, because that's when all the juicy leaks will come out about the real things that all went down during all these tumultuous periods. And until next week, where we'll be running around collecting candy, buying our lovely exotic items, and Nadine will be frantically collecting all of the masks he needs to look like the prettiest Titan in all the land. Thank you for joining us. Your Titans are Peroty and Night Demon. Your hunters don't want to respawn to real life. You can find this show wherever you get your podcasts. Email us, 2titans100@hotmail.com. You should go to YouTube for each and every week for all your weekly update videos, your live streams, what the rotations are, at least as far as we can tell you, what shade is selling you, basically all the information. Go there for it. 2titans100.com. That's where all the show notes live. That's where all the videos we talk about go to. And if you want to join our Patreon, patreon.com/TTH. We appreciate you. You appreciate us. It's a mutual appreciation society. If you want the thrill of live action, spicy language, or just want to yell at Respawn when he doesn't stream, twitch.tv/no-one-respawn to real life. If you want to see Night Demon try to shepherd his super elite 360 no-scoping son through the Crucible, twitch.tv/2titans1hunter. And until next week, say goodbye, gents.
Goodbye, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, deuces. So, you know.
Blah, 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 blah.
See, you do it.
Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast.
And then we have at Destiny 2 team. Hey, all, we've had a conversation. Actually, am I starting at the bottom or the top? How did you start this progression? Is it bottom up or top down?
Top down.
Because I have a feeling it is top down.
It's top down because I did it by when these tweets were posted.
Okay.
Oldest, newest.
Okay. All right. So, hey, all, we had a conversation with our sandbox folks this morning about this. There is no perk waiting. Active for any legendary weapon pros in Destiny 2. We have added perk attunement for
exotic. Are you clicking as well? Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. That was me. I was clicking my knife. It's a.
Oh my God!
Knife?
You're clicking a knife So you can't click the keyboard because you can't play the game, or you're just about to go out, and now you're just clicking a knife just for click's sake in the middle of. You are such a nightmare for my edits.
You do realize
absolutely hate you.
This is an audio medium, right?
Oh my god! I thought he was clicking on the keyboard. And
we have a
really loud
that people listen to with
Put
their
the
ears.
knife away. Put the knife down.
As soon as you said the clicking, I put it away. It's a habit of God. I'm sorry. I'm a fish.
Just do the reading. Start again. Sorry.
All right.